Well, how you doing? Mr. DJ's back. Gonna cut a couple of videos for my 70s YouTube channel tonight as I'm running late and took the computer in to the shop for a couple of days to have it fixed, and it's up and ready to go, and it's time to catch up on some videos. Outsourcing still Billboard's Hot 100, February the 5th, 1977. Let me bring that up real quick. The song that I want to play for you comes in at number, excuse me, I believe it peaked at 65, down to 66. And it's from the RCA record label, produced by Milton Oken, who produced hit records by Peter, Paul, and Mary. John Denver, Baby You Look Good to Me Tonight. 7 weeks on Billboard's Hot 100. It's at number 66, week of February the 5th, 1977. By 1977, John Denver, actually even earlier than that, by 1976, John Denver had lost a lot of momentum. His last top 10 hit was Calypso, and that was in the fall of 1975, although he made the most of that one. That went to number 2 on Billboard's Hot 100. One of my favorite songs by John Denver, Calypso. John Denver, his real name, Henry John Dudgendorf. Dudgendorf. There are several pronunciations of this word. Durchendorf is another pronunciation, I think, but I'll just use Dudgendorf. And when John Denver, he learned how to play the guitar when he was real young, about 11 years old. By the time he was in college, he started playing the coffee houses in the club. And a guy named Randy Sparks, founder of the New Christy Minstrels. Remember the song Green Green back in 1963? John Denver met Randy Sparks. Well, actually, he wasn't known as John Denver at that time, but that was going to change. Randy Sparks said, Henry John, Dorf just not going to work. Dutchendorf is not a marquee name. How in the heck you gonna fit that name into a marquee? I mean, that's too big for a marquee. You're gonna have to change your last name. And Dutchendorf, he changed his name to Denver. Denver, the capital city of his favorite state, Colorado, became known as John Denver. Started pursuing his solo career in 1969, and fast forward to his 11th album called Spirit. And Baby You Look Good to Me Tonight. That was from that album. Even though John Denver was not charting in 1976 and 77 the way he used to in the early to mid 70s, he was still quite a presence on the adult contemporary charts. And this song fits hand in glove on the adult contemporary radio format. The Starland Vocal Band sings backup on this record. Guess who wrote this record? Bill Danoff of the Starland Vocal Band. This album was not as successful. This album would start a downward trek as far as its commercial success is concerned. Denver's commercial success. The album before that, Wind Song, was huge. Calypso, I'm Sorry, Thank God I'm a Country Boy. They were all on that album. My favorite song by John Denver. Favorite song. God dog it. Favorite song on that album. It's such a profound record. Looking for Space. Man, you can do some transcendental meditation on that song. Have that song playing on the radio and you're just sitting there meditating. The song infiltrates your subconscious and it's absolute bliss. It is one of the loveliest records he ever came out with. Looking for Space. That's off a Wind Song. That did chart on Billboard's Hot 100, just barely made top 40 though. Something like number 29, number 30, maybe number 35 on Billboard's Hot 100. That was in the spring of 76. That came after Calypso. And there was Thank God I'm a Country Boy. Actually, Fly Away was off that album too. Fly Away, the song. God dog it. This is the incredible thing about John Denver. Take a look at this. 1974, he had Annie's song, Sunshine on My Shoulders. And then, I guess it was late in 74. Maybe it was a little earlier. There was I'm Sorry. And then 1975, Thank God I'm a Country Boy, Calypso, and Fly Away. That lovely record he did with Olivia Newton-John. The fall of 1975. God, I sound so granny talking about these slow records. Sound like a granny. Oh, it was such a lovely record. Oh, it's so sweet. Actually, it was. Anyway, oh, by the way, this album Spirit. Guess who played on this album? Guess who played drums and percussion on this album? A legend. A legend you may have never heard of. Drummer Hal Blaine. Card-carrying member of the Wrecking Crew. This guy, I got some statistics on this guy. Or I wrote down some statistics on this guy. He played on 40 #1 singles. The songs that he played on, Hal Blaine, this guy was such a talented drummer. Mr. Tambourine Man, he's a rebel. Surf City, he played on Ringo by Lauren Green, that was a #1 in '64. He played on Half Breed by Cher, that was produced by Snuff Garrett. Wendy by The Association, he played drums on that record. No surprise. Then the banging on those drums, the skins. This guy was just a multi-talent. Played on Cracklin' Rosa. I did a little research on Cracklin' Rosa by Neil Diamond. He played drums on that record. The Wrecking Crew played the music on Cracklin' Rosa by Neil Diamond. But we're getting off topic here. And he also played on Thank God I'm a Country Boy by John Denver. Hal Blaine did. Gosh, dog, this guy played on so many records. The list just goes on and on. And speaking of lists, John Denver has recorded approximately 300 records. 200 of them he wrote. Sales around $33 million gross. That might be a conservative figure. Anyway, here we go. At number 66 on Billboard's Hot 100, February 5th, 1977. Starland Vocal Band on this record, Baby, You Look Good to Me Tonight by John Denver.